now move on to the seventh question, which will be posed to Joanne Yukimura. Joanne, with a slowing economy, which programs might you be willing to sacrifice, and which programs should be held on to?
I need some clarification on that question, if I may. With a slowing economy, are you talking about county projects?
Correct, county programs such as the Mayor's Kauai program, for instance. KPAL. Which programs might you be willing to sacrifice?
You know, that is something that I haven't yet looked at. We would do that in a budget process. We would first need to know what our revenues would be, and then what the initiatives and needs are. That all comes as part of a budgeting process. But I'll tell you that I have not made promises that I couldn't keep to the unions when they interviewed me, and that is because I'm aware that we have to we're going to be facing very difficult budget situation. And for example, you know, one of the concerns was some privatization efforts, and for example, because I promoted privatization of the landfill when we created that in 1994. At that time, it was not illegal, and it was the plan was that no union worker would lose their job, but it would save the county $20 million. And I think we're going to need that kind of savings in order to make sure that nobody existing loses their jobs. That's the kind of hard decision making that we need to do in a tight budgetary time. And so, you know, I think that in that way it was going to be a benefit for the union that we saved money in one place, and then we didn't have to lay off anybody, and we would have it in hard budget times so that we could prevent layoffs in the future. That's the kind of balancing that needs to be done, and I think, you know, I don't know how Bernard will do that or what kind of promises he has made to the unions.
As far as I'm concerned, no programs will be cut. KPAL is a program that reaches out to kids on the island. And it is there, it's going to stay. Our summer program, we extended the hours for our summer program to help our families, 7:30 to 5:30. Prior to that, it was 8 to 4. And they questioned, they asked, how can you help us? How can you help us to shuffle our kids back and forth? Can you extend the hours? Working closely with the council and getting approvals, and we did it. It's our responsibility. I can tell you we're going to cut. We're going to cut first. I will not accept the $6,000 allowance for the mayor's car. There's an allowance that allowed it for the mayor, granted to the mayor. I'll stop that. No, done. The next thing I will do, as far as I will put a freeze on the proposed future raise for the mayor and all department heads and deputies. A total savings of $300,000. What's that about? That's what we said yesterday, and I'm going to say it again. That's the kinds of creative ways we need. It starts at the top, okay? And whatever happens at the bottom is going to move forward. I support the workforce. I've talked to the unions. I'm not going to make commitments and promises that I cannot keep. I can assure you that. But I can tell you right now, no programs will be cut from our administration. We're going to find other ways. We're going to be more fiscally responsible in how we look at ways to cut costs and reallocate funding to truly support the programs that the people need and deserve on this island. It's for our kids and our kupuna.
Bernard, you have a 2-minute follow-up question. With the tightening budget scenario we're in now, it may not be a reality to not cut programs. How would you secure the workforce?
Again, as I stated before, we're going to look at other areas, cutting from the top. And I mentioned several areas right now. We're going to look at energy costs. I'm going to require my department heads to look deep into each of their budgets and go ahead and take 5%, 10%, whatever it is, whatever it comes out from their budget, and reallocate those funds to state programs. I'm going to make sure that we look at our cell phones that go home, and we're going to look at take-home vehicles. Not everybody needs to take home vehicles. We need to look at that and evaluate that and see how we can keep our vehicles here instead of taking it home. There are certain areas that need that support for health and safety, yes, but it's looking at other ways of being fiscally responsible. And there are ways. And I have a team in place that is going to help me, going to support me, and I'm going to listen. And I'm going to understand. I'm going to challenge them to get the job done. That's what it is. It's working with the people and allowing them to get the job done. And I would sit there and say, good job, guys and gals. And so that's the kind of relationship and leadership that we need. Being creative, looking internally, finding ways that can truly support us in-house, but for the benefit of the people. I keep saying that, I'll say that every time, because that's what it is. Government being customer services to the people of our island.
Bernard's answer is an answer from someone who doesn't know the budgeting process or the realities of the budget. Governor Lingle has said that they're going to have to cut $900 million from the state budget, and that it's going to look like layoffs. That is something you have to deal with. I would work my darndest not to do layoffs, but that means sometimes that you have to cut somewhere else. And if you have to cut preventive maintenance, tools or training, bus expansion, shoreline expansion, or energy improvements, if you want to get these kinds of initiatives done, or you cut preventive maintenance and you have a bigger bill down the road, that makes no sense at all. Budget is a hard process of balancing needs, and when you have limited income, as we could very well do, as we did after the hurricane, if property values go down, and we want to help others by keeping our taxes small, then we're going to have a lot of problems and tough decisions to make.
Our eighth and final question. The eighth and final question will be posed to Bernard. What's the first issue you would tackle in office?
The first issue we tackled in office is finding a good sound, addressing our energy costs. That's number one for me. I think it's important that we all look at our individual homes, look at how we can all support each other in the community to tighten the belt, look at our light bulbs, do the small things that make a difference. Look at solar, look at ways that we can truly make a difference and support our energy situation here on our island. I think that it starts at home meaning in the county. We need to look internally again and find out ways that we can truly be energy efficient. Starting off with retrofitting our facilities, yes. Looking at ways, we have $1 million of photovoltaic for the Civic Center over here. Looking at ways to retrofit our facilities. Looking at expanding and working closely with our transportation agency. Looking at feeder routes and shuttle service. And I started the shuttle service in Lihue. I'm going to say I did that because I was responsible for that. You may have said this is a good idea. I have to make it happen. I'm the one that have to make things move. I'm the one that have to order the bike racks. I'm the one that have to make sure that it was convenient for the people who ride the bus. We had to do that. Sorry, not I. We had to do that. Me and my team. So that's what it's about, people. And so when we do projects like this, it's about reaching out and doing it for the best interest of the people. So you talk about transportation, you talk about agriculture, I talk with key leaders in the agricultural field, Oyama, Mr. Kawamura. I'm talking story with them every day. Those are the guys that know what's happening and have a relationship with them. They're telling me this is what it is. Thank you, Mr. Oyama. Now help me to move that forward. And who else should be called to the table to make things happen? That's what it's about, people. Thank you.
Well, I think the actual most pressing issue is the economy, and I've already described how important the economy, moving quickly on short-term as well as long-term things are for the economy. But a part of addressing the economy is energy, because energy underlies everything. Our small businesses are paying higher electrical bills as well as our households, and everything is dependent on energy. So actually the real need is to address the energy issue that starts with a good plan, and then it moves to implementation. And as you know, it was my initiative and Council Chair for FARO who moved the energy plan to funding. We need to enforce or develop an energy efficiency code. We need solar water heaters on all single-family and duplex homes. We need county in-house efforts, and I will move quickly on the photovoltaic at the Civic Center and the methane recapture projects, which have been stalled presently.